Cars like this will probably never be made again. Cars with soul, with emotion, with a passion for speed and driving itself. And that's without any exaggeration. No limited ESP that only pretends to be turned off. No hybrid, no regenerative braking, or any assistant that helps you hold adrift, for God's sake. No, just you, the machine, and the incredible sound of a naturally aspirated V8 in a package with no roof over your head. Could you resist? We are Automotive.
Hello, can you hear me? Here it is. We're going to get the M3, the one I've always wanted, but as you all know, now is not the time for me to keep it. You know we currently have the sedan, but when I saw the colors on this car, I just couldn't leave it there. We're heading out with my buddy Martius. We're going with the Ram, which you've already seen in the video. The car can tow up to 4.2 tons, but of course, in Europe, the legal maximum is 3.5 tons. And I can't wait to see what the M3 will look like in person. My buddy from the BMW shop checked it out for me and said the car is nice, it has service records, and there are invoices for the rod bearings at 103,000 kilometers, so I think it should be fine if someone did it right, but we'll find all that out during testing. Sorry, Marta, I'm just goofing off instead of helping you. Classic. So, the little car on top, this one. That's not black, that's the color of the car. I'm already looking forward to discovering German stuff. Munda put these wheels on it, they don't even have the original paint anymore, look at that. But careful, the tires are 285 on 25, not 30, 25-20, really for Czech roads. The trip went by beautifully in luxury and comfort. We arrived just as we should. This Ram definitely has a V8, here it is, and I can't wait for all of this. We're going to cook up. The adventure begins. I want to show you one more thing. Look at the azurite blue metallic. That color, it's incredible. I'll show you another angle. Watch, yeah, like this, against the sun, like this, look. Completely boring, black, gray, just, I don't know. Against the sun, you see what it does. You can't even come close to filming it the way it looks in real life. It's absolutely incredible what it does. Do I maybe have some kind of disorder? When a car has blue paint, no roof, and a beige-white interior, or just in exactly this color that BMW used to make in those years, my judgment gets totally distorted and my sense of rationality just goes out the window and I simply have to have it. So, this car. The situation doesn't allow it, we can't keep it, but we really got it just for the video. It's for sale, well, maybe not anymore now. I think a beautiful, original, facelifted M3 like this will be gone in no time. We're starting up the iconic V8, which is derived from the V10 from the M5 and M6 generation E60, E61, and E63. It's truly a masterpiece of an engine, which, yes, has its own specifics. The throttle actuator is one of them, those vacuum canisters are another, and of course the rod bearings. We all know this engine is very demanding on them, and that the replacement interval can be somewhere around 60 to 80,000. If you look it up on Google, it'll tell you almost 100,000. Look, it all depends on how you use the car, how you drive it, and you have to adjust the maintenance accordingly. You have to reflect that somehow. If you only drive it on the Nordschleife, which of course you would never do with a convertible, then you should ideally change the rod bearings every 15,000. If you drive fast but not just on tracks, then ideally every 30,000 and so on and so on. And now about our oddball, which when I got it, I thought, wow, is this really me? Well, never mind. It's just the color, the way it's supposed to be. I'm really interested in it, and I know it's not a full-fledged M3 because it weighs 1900 kilos. And I can tell you, the moment you can drive this car and throw it into corners to really get to know it, you actually start wondering if you were wrong, very wrong, or catastrophically wrong. It's probably the slowest M car I've driven from the modern era. 420 naturally aspirated horsepower, but yes, 1900 kilos of weight. This car is kind of a heavyweight, but there's one thing I have to admit. We deliberately filmed it for you with the roof down, the wind deflector down, just the way I personally like it the most. But when you put the roof up, the balance completely changes. We already discussed this in the test of the 330i, the nice blue car from Automotive. Back then, it behaved a bit more like a coupe. It's still heavy, but actually the behavior pattern of the car is close to the E92 version, and even the M3 in this case. That's how it is. This car has a beautiful front end, thanks to which it really turns great. And when you put the roof down, I thought, yeah, this is a car that reminds me of Ford Mustangs because it has a V8 and it's basically made for 4 people, more like a show car. And you know what's funny? It actually has a much heavier rear end at that moment, which means you need to put more power through the rear tires. They're not small, so you can have some fun. But the pattern of how good and predictable the chassis is hasn't changed here, and in this respect, the E93 has absolutely enchanted me today. I honestly have to say I'm amazed at how pleasant and fun this car is, even at the limit. I didn't think I'd say this. I was thinking, yeah, it's fine with the roof up, okay? It has internal hydraulics, which are complex and can fail over time. Be careful if you're thinking about buying an E93. Always check that the mechanism works as it should and that it doesn't make any strange noises. It's really a very complicated mechanism, and if it doesn't work, the repairs, the car has to be lifted onto a special frame, are very expensive. But honestly, it's good even without it. Sure, you can feel some torsional vibration. You can tell it's not as rigid as a coupe. You see the windshield moving. That's absolutely normal. It's just part of it. And since the chassis, it's an M version, got some extra reinforcements, as soon as you get under the car, you immediately see more braces that regular 93s don't have. So it has to show up somewhere in those movements. But the precision of this car, the way you can predict its behavior, all of that is still there. I'll just show you a little gentle acceleration just for fun, because that dual clutch transmission is extremely smart. When you step on the gas like this, it first revs up, then releases the clutch hard, and you can take off as if you had a manual. For me, the combination of a naturally aspirated engine, this incredible 4-liter that revs up to 8,400 RPM, and the dual clutch transmission, it gives you such unbelievable emotions that I would actually call it an experience machine. It's a car that's really very impractical, that has to be said. Folding the roof into the trunk leaves almost no space for anything else. At the same time, it's a car that, if you use it as a coupe, it's not as nice as a coupe. On the other hand, if you just want the feeling of driving, then the M3 of this generation, and it doesn't matter which body style we're talking about, is a car in a completely different league than the rest of the BMW M3S ever made. It's this one, it's the most modern and at the same time the last most emotional one there ever was. You have a high-revving, naturally aspirated engine, you have the transmission we talked about, or you have a 6-speed manual, but you have a car that's modern enough to be safe. And at the same time, there's still that old BMW formula, the kind of car you can really lean on. You can drive it by feel with millimeter precision, it won't bite you, it's just completely brilliantly predictable. And on top of all that, it's just high quality and beautiful. This car, look, we have the extended leather package. Here, the entire lower part of the dashboard is covered in this incredible white leather with white stitching. And when you look at this car, you think that's not possible. This is a 2011. It's not possible that it's 15 years old. It's just such a timeless combination, so elegant and at the same time pleasantly sporty that I can't even imagine that this car would ever feel old to me. Simply no. And now, a little treat just so you can hear it. Look, let's do it like this, uphill. 4.5. It's only 70. I can't do more. It was second gear at around 5,000 revs, but do you hear how beautifully it sounds? You know the videos from the Nordschleife? You know the videos of guys who drive this car with overinflated Chinese tires on the back at 3 bars, always drifting everywhere? If you think about it, the convertible is nice but heavy, and the naturally aspirated engine lacks torque, so it's not the same, but really, it's just different. If you're looking for speed to prove that you'll be faster than others, then the E93 M3 is absolutely not the car for you. On the other hand, if you've already had your fun, if you just don't need to always race someone somewhere, but you actually want all the mechanical feel of the machine and at the same time still have the chance to enjoy what you love about cars, well, it's all here. Because it's heavy and doesn't have much torque, you have to wring out each gear much longer than in the lightest sedan coupe with a manual where it revs up much faster. But you have time to enjoy it, you have time to grasp it. In corners where you'd expect it to be sluggish, you can rotate the car with the throttle, just like you're used to in an M3. It all happens more slowly, but at that moment, or at least I'm speaking for myself, but I dare say that's how it is for us. It's either good or it's not. So in your heart, you're not any less happy than when it happens quickly. Simply a car you can really feel in every possible way, even though it's pretty useless if you're only focused on speed. This is the M3 E93. We got it because of the colors. We thought, okay, we'll film it, move on, and we'll be richer for the experience of what it was like. If the situation allowed it even a little and it was possible to keep it, I'll tell you straight up, I was incredibly impressed by it. That's the kind of car it is, you know, just like third gear, second gear. It's also amazing how you sit. You have the open sky above your head. You can hear it right here from the left nostril on the hood. You can hear that intake ripping. Unlike some modern, very driver-focused roadsters where you hear it behind your ear, here you hear it from the front. And then when you heat up the exhaust, it starts to spit, it starts to pop. This really happens even with this stock car. Back then there were no particulate filters. There was no toning things down. No, the M was supposed to spit almost fire. It was supposed to be angry at the world. And that's exactly what this car is. This is a car with balls. It's a car, really an experienced machine, full of emotion. Perfectly made, fantastically made. Let's talk a bit about reliability. I've already hinted at it, so what exactly can give you trouble here? Just keep in mind that if you want to drive it hard, the running costs will be much higher. And it's good to know what I'll be using my convertible for, if I can't handle that. I'll remind myself it's still an M3 and I'll end up doing track days, even with a convertible, but honestly, that makes no sense. That car suddenly completely loses the logic of why it exists. You should primarily want to cruise around in it at 12 or 13 liters, which is what it can do. And then sometimes enjoy it in the hills with the roof down, and the rest is just cruising, enjoying it. Another thing is the throttle actuators. Each cylinder bank in this case has one electronically controlled actuator that operates 4 separate throttle valves. Just like with the 10-cylinder, which has 10, here there are 8, I think I already mentioned that. The problem is the internal gears, which in the original are made of plastic. Over time, they degrade and the electronics report limp mode. When you do the service, and I would even recommend addressing those actuators preventively, there are aftermarket manufacturers who made it better than BMW M itself. The aftermarket gears are not made of plastic, but of brass. And at that moment, your worries are over. By the way, just a little side note about how extremely high-quality BMW used to make things. Did you know that the E93, in the case of the M3, always has a special coating on the leather, a special film that's soaked into the leather? It's called Sun Reflect F, so that the leather reflects as much heat and sunlight as possible, so you don't burn your butt if you happen to have an M3 with a black interior, for example. That's just insane. And that's exactly why I love convertibles with a white interior. Not just because of how it looks, but because it doesn't retain heat in the summer. You can just sit right down and drive off, and you don't get burned. And in that car, it's a good 4 or 5 degrees cooler. Now, moving on to things that might bother you. This car is extremely sensitive to the condition of the ignition coils. The engine doesn't have classic knock sensors. Instead, it uses special ignition control units located on the valves. These units are sensitive to the quality of the spark plugs. Please only buy NGK Laser Platinum. Only these will ideally last in the car for about 30,000 kilometers. Then you should replace them again, but they'll work without error messages so that the ignition works as it should and you can experience this incredible performance. And the last thing is the dual clutch transmission, which of course, again, the BMW service plan is something that you would normally just take those papers and throw them out the window, and you'd rather set the car on fire. Lifetime fill for the dual clutch transmission. Oil, sure, of course, great. Change it every 60,000 at the latest. Most owners, fortunately, by that time already knew it needed to be done and did it. If you drive hard, change it every 40 or 30,000, nothing will happen. Yes, it costs extra money. No, thanks to that, it won't cost you the whole transmission. It's really simple. Look how it shifts, look. Wah, wah, ha 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 ha. And one more thing, in case you happen to hear clicking from the rear axle at low speeds, there's a limited slip differential there, which is also quite sensitive to the condition and quality of the oil. If someone was driving the car hard straight down the highway, it can overheat, the oil can then leak out through the overflow, and this can significantly shorten the lifespan of the differential. If it starts clicking, a rebuild is definitely necessary. And that's all. The rest is pure joy, the rest is emotion through and through. So I'm going to stop spouting my so-called clever crap. And we're off. Yes, you can definitely feel the weight under braking. That's a sound, isn't it? You hear that? Hey, hop. How nice. A lovely road. The body flex doesn't affect the way it drives at all. The only thing you have to watch out for under braking is the heavier rear end, where the folded roof is. And it tends to slip away a little faster than in the E92. But the ride is actually the same experience even though it's slow. Look, this looked like an extreme drift, but we were still keeping speeds around 100 kilometers per hour. No one would give me a ticket on that country road where the speed limit is 90, you know? And for me, that's a huge benefit of this car, which I suspected before, but now I'm enjoying it to the fullest. Because I can rev a naturally aspirated V8 to over 8,000 RPM, and still be moving at relatively reasonable speeds, which is exactly how it should be when I go for a drive.
Always check the history of a used car if possible, but with M3S that's doubly true. Recently I was interested in an E90 sedan, specifically an M3, from the USA and offered at a good price, so I checked and found the car was wrapped around a lamppost. Our car has a perfectly clean record and comes from Germany. And how many are there in total? From imports, 1,154, otherwise currently exactly 2,000. Fourth generation E90, 2 and 3. There are 321 cars of this type here, and 77 units are imported. Convertible, 71. Sedan, 33, and coupe, the most common variant, 217. The most common color is white, 116 units. Brown cars are the least common, only 2 units.
It's awesome. Look at it go. Actually, it's actually uphill, right? Hey, 3. I'll run through the gears from 80 for you, okay? 3rd, full throttle, now. 4. 5. Now I'm finally going 90. That was full throttle the whole time. It really doesn't pull uphill. Look. 6. 7. It's still speeding up. I'm already at 95. No, it doesn't have any low-end torque, no. We were saying that even 5 years ago. When we filmed the 92 for you, with a manual, amazing. But the fact that it doesn't have low-end torque also means that you just enjoy. I was about to head back, but I'm going to take it down my favorite road because this car has me so excited. I can have fun in it without annoying anyone by driving fast, because I'm not actually going fast. Fast. Everything else will be like that. Everything new is fast. Every EV launches in 2 seconds. To who knows how many kilometers an hour. But is it really about that? Isn't it more about the emotions and experience? I haven't even mentioned how much fuel this thing burns. Hey, do the math. I think so. I said 12, you can. It just burns 20 liters when you want to have fun. But here we are again. It's exactly the right generation of car where you don't fill the tank with gasoline. You fill it with joy. You fill it with emotion and experience and an unforgettable impression and bond with the car. This is a car that gives you enough reasons to go for a drive on your favorite road in the evening. And go enjoy it. We're still going about 100 kilometers per hour. No brutal pace, just pure joy. And just normal effort. Hey, let's drop it into third here, hop. That's unbelievably predictable. A little brake, second gear, hop. 90, right? Not 140, 160. Look, no, 90, right? For the eyes, your own strip. Just the weight. With me, buddy. They knew how to do it so damn well. We filmed it today. We were saying, hey, a buddy texted again about an M2 CS. It went into limp mode on the Nordschleifer because the differential overheated. You look at the videos, the cars are smoking from the rear differential. You think, how is this possible? That a company that used to be able to make things like this? Man, I can't believe what's going on these days. This is such an insanely good car. This is just insanely good. We're driving here at Sunset Empty Road. I know this is exactly where I'm supposed to be and where I want to be. Oops. I need nothing more from life. Nothing else? No. Drive slowly and have fun while driving. That's probably all. That's it. Let's end with a light little double clutch. Sound good? A double clutch hop while braking. You wouldn't spill a drop from your glass. That's how precise and predictable the chassis is. And how well you can drive it with absolute precision. Precise. You just don't jerk it. I was expecting a clumsy convertible that just looks and sounds like an M3. I felt exactly the same emotions in a package that's slower. And they're even more tangible in it because there's no roof over you here. That's an M3 E93 in good condition. And in these colors, well, all right. This is absolutely everything. Thank you so much for being with us. For me, this is a car I wanted to describe very thoroughly and in depth. Because actually, until now, I never really understood what it's like. And it really surprised me. Thanks for watching. And I'm going to vacuum it so it looks nice. Take care. See you.